What's going on YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're going to talk about Batman Detective Comics, issue number 1085. This one is written by Ram V in the main storyline. Alex Pacanel does the backup. Stefano Raffaele is the artist on the main storyline, and there's somebody else who did the art in the backup, but when we get to the last page, I'll kind of summarize who did that. But anyway, so this one takes place after the events of the previous one. So we open the issue up with Selina Kyle confronting the Joker, and in a way, she's kind of manipulating Joker to kind of take action against the Orkham family. I mean, we're kind of in a bit of a desperate state with this Orkhams having taken over the city and kind of enacting their will as all this stuff is kind of going on. And also during this time, Batman is on there. He's more focused after dealing with the whole asthma thing and kind of pushing that infection kind of out of his system. He's back, he's recharged, he's more focused than he's ever been. I also really like the bat symbol that they kind of have here. It's like this kind of bloody thing, and every time Batman appears on the page, it really just stands out amongst everything else. Now, doesn't mean I want it for issues after this story arc, but I think for the story arc that we have now with this new kind of rejuvenated, refocused Batman, I think it kind of works. Meanwhile, the Orkham family is really frustrated with all the stuff that's going on, and they seemingly are on the cusp of bringing someone back. Not exactly sure who this is. It's probably a character we've seen in this run a long time ago, but because the storyline has dragged on for so long and I haven't gone back to reread things, I kind of forget. But they're a little frustrated right now. Batman's still there working with Gordon, and like I said earlier, his bat symbol looks really cool. It's kind of like this bloody, like Barbados kind of looking bad thing, and him and Gordon are kind of working together to kind of stop and kind of put into motion some various plans to take down the Orkhams for good. So at one point he goes and confronts the musical box guy that we saw way earlier on in the run, and he asks him to kind of compose something that'll kind of subdue the asthma, if you will, like when they're able to kind of infect, so that they don't really like affect people, like they can be kind of controlled and put back to sleep, because that's what's giving the Orkham family their holds over the city, is these asthma things that they're controlling. And also he goes and confronts Freeze and kind of makes a deal with him to kind of freeze things, because as you know, the asthma are weak against cold, and he's kind of like working with Freeze in this situation about trying to do the right thing. And so I kind of like that stuff. And then the main storyline kind of ends with the Orkham family. They try to use like happiness and all that to kind of keep Gotham in check, but a lot of people aren't really understanding or getting the message. So now they're a little weird machine thing. They're going to be bringing in Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow, and utilizing fear to keep the citizens of Gotham in check. So that's the main storyline. And then the backup one, kind of an interesting one. We have Mr. Freeze confronting this woman who isn't Nora, but he kind of has some sort of connection with. He actually seems to kind of care for this person, and she's kind of like somebody who works and sees that Victor isn't really kind of aging at this point. There's a lot she wants to do, and at one point he kind of gives her sort of like this fountain of youth thing, or at least that's what she thinks it is, and then she takes it and then eventually kind of dies while Victor kind of builds his machine. So this one, like I said, was written by Alex Pacanel, and the artwork was done by Christopher Minton. I prefer the Stefano Raffaele artwork that we saw in the first section as opposed to the artwork in this back one, but I did kind of like seeing like almost a side of Victor Freeze that kind of cared for this woman that isn't necessarily Nora Freeze, because whenever you see Victor Freeze, the only thing he seems to care for is his wife. It's kind of nice to get a bit of a different side to him in a way, although it doesn't really end in the best of terms. There still seemed to be like this kind of caring side to this one woman he had, although he ultimately kind of gives her something that leads to her death, because, well, he's Mr. Freeze, and ultimately, like, it's just not going to end well if you're associated with him. So we got that going on. Main storyline has some really great looking artwork. We're still kind of moving at a slow pace with the story, it feels like. But it's kind of setting in motion for things, but I feel like we've been setting in motion a lot of stuff. I'm ready for more of the action to kind of like pick up the pace a little bit. We do see Selina Kyle manipulating the Joker, so there's all these various moving pieces, and I hope that they all come together in a really interesting way. But her kind of manipulating the Joker to kind of take action, like, it shows how desperate she is in this situation, to where she would turn to somebody like Joker. Joker's usually a red flag, but even she's like, man, this Orkham family kind of sucks. Joker, just kind of do something about it, man. Like, and even then, like, if it's Joker feuding with the Orkhams, at least in her eyes, like at least you're getting rid of one of them. So at the end of the day, like I said, if Joker gets killed off, then oh well, it's not a total loss. But Joker will do something to kind of mess with the organ, so that could be kind of interesting. And like I said, I like Batman's new bat symbol right here. I think it looks really cool with this particular artwork style. Organs have not been the most interesting of characters. I do kind of want to get to the end of this storyline, but I do kind of like some of the moving pieces going on here, and I like some of the artwork here, and it is tying back into stuff that happened way earlier on, like the music box guy. I know he has a name, but I just refer to him as music box guy, and Batman kind of using him to kind of write almost like it's kind of like an antidote of sorts to the Arsens or whatever. And then of course him working with Mr. Freeze on this whole situation is kind of interesting. And now the Orkham's bringing in Scarecrow, so a lot of the major villains are at play here, and they're doing their thing, and we're building to this climax, which I hope we kind of get to soon. But we shall see. The backup storyline was interesting, but I mean, I didn't really feel like we necessarily needed it, but it is what it is. So overall consensus, not the strongest issue of Detective Comics, but definitely not the worst. There's a few things I certainly liked about it. Like I said, Catwoman almost kind of coercing and manipulating the Joker to try and do something against this whole Orkham situation, I thought was kind of interesting. And I did really like some of the artwork and kind of the way Batman's symbol looked, so that's certainly something as well. I just kind of wish we could pick up the pace a little bit with the storyline. I know there's only a few issues left, but I'm at the point now where I'm just kind of counting down the days till we get to the end of this whole Orkham family stuff, because they haven't really been the most interesting or exciting of characters to kind of follow. And because we've been stuck with them for so long, I'm just kind of like, are we done with this arc yet? I want to get to the next thing already. Because like I said, it's gone on for a long time. And maybe it'll read differently in a big, huge trade paperback. Because there has been some good stuff in this Detective Comics run for sure. But I'm kind of at that point where I just really kind of want to get to the end of it. But get a little bit more progress, a few other moving pieces. But we're still not quite there at the end. This is a storyline that is really taking its time. In terms of the backup, not sure if it was really all that necessary. I feel like you kind of just cut a lot of these backups out and just drop the price like $1, and I think you'd probably be better off. So, but that's just my opinion. What did you think of Detective Comics 1085? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Post your comments down below. Be sure to like this video, share with your friends, subscribe to your channel for more content, hit the bell for notifications. I think that's it in terms of DC comic book reviews for this week. I got some other comic books, but I want to kind of cover just the DC stuff for right now. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.